Buongiorno e benvenuti. My name is Giovanna and I welcome you to my kitchen on the cliff. Today we're going to make two kinds of cookies. These are really family heirlooms. The first one is in my recipe box as Joe Contento's Biscotti. Joe Contento was a darling, beloved cousin. We cooked together, we sewed together, we went to concerts together. It was just a wonderful relationship. I will also be making Crescent cookies from another cousin, my cousin Nina Biazzo Cohen. This is one of her recipes. She often came with, she always came with food. And these are delicious. These are two cookies that are not overly sweet by any means. So they're wonderful for an afternoon or a morning coffee or an afternoon tea for breakfast. Just a kind of nice cookie to have around. Of course, we all know that biscotti means cook twice. Bis in Italian means again. So when you are doing salute, brindisi, with your glass of wine, and you say to your companion, facciamo un bis, means let's have another glass of wine. Or you're at the opera, and somebody sings Nessun Dorma, and you loved it, so you start clapping, you say bis, 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 bis. That means sing it again. Bis means again. Cotti means cooked. So biscotti means cooked twice. Biscotti are crispy. They're dry. So that's why they're so good, dipped in wine or dipped in coffee or dipped in tea. First we're going to make the biscotti and then we will make the Crescent cookies. Let's get going with the first recipe. I am using self-rising flour. That means that the baking powder and baking soda is already mixed in the proper proportions. So it's very nice to keep in the house if you want to make pancakes or a quick bread or anything that requires baking powder. If you don't happen to have self-rising flour in the house, no problem. Use regular flour and just add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to pour it into our mixer. We're going to add the sugar to the self-rising flour. We're going to add 4 eggs. Remember not to crack your eggs on the edge of the bowl because you might get little chips of shell. So do it always on a flat surface. Right. Lastly, we're going to pour the olive oil. And now we're going to mix. We're going to use a whisk. And we're going to mix it at slow speed. Once all the ingredients are incorporated, you're going to turn it on at medium speed and we're going to let it mix for 2 minutes. You can add any flavoring you like, but I'm going to add Fior di Sicilia, which is an absolutely wonderful flavoring. It's an extremely fragrant citrus flavor. And there it goes, 1 teaspoon. Okay, scrape everything off. Right now we're going to fold in the fruit and the pine nuts, pignoli. Pignoli in English, pinoli in Italiano. So now I'm going to fold, and fold is just a process of going from the bottom to the top and turning the spatula. Very easy, but that's the way to do it so that you don't deflate it and you get a good mix of all the ingredients. All right, now let's prepare the pans. I'm going to spray the pans with a food release. So I'm just giving a good spray. And now we're going to divide this into exactly 3 parts. Level these by just moving this around a bit. Make sure that you get all the corners. When you're baking something like this, always put the pans in a larger pan because there's always a chance of overflowing. And you certainly don't want this all over your oven. We're baking them at 375 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. At 15 minutes, you look at them. If they look a little pale, you give it another 5. So while the biscotti are baking, I'm going to start the next recipe, which is the anise crescents. So we're going to break our 4 eggs. Okay, so we're beating the eggs with a whisk. We're going to pour the flour into the mixer. We're going to use the paddle, and we're going to pour in the eggs and the oil. We're going to add a teaspoonful of anise oil. What a fragrance. So this has been mixed until there's no flour residue on the bottom of the bowl. Okay, I'm going to knead it a few turns. I'm going to divide this into 5. So we have one piece here, we divide this in half, and we divide it in half again. Okay? Then I'm going to take each one of these, roll it into a rope. It doesn't matter how many inches it is, and cut it into 8 pieces. You're going to do it by eye. That means you cut it in half by eye, you cut each in half again, and half again. All right, so now we're going to shape the cookies. We're going to make it into a rope, make the ends thinner than the middle. See what I've done? The ends are thinner than the middle. And once we've done that, we make a crescent shape. This is actually quite fast. You know, it looks a little daunting, but it isn't. You just get started, particularly if you have children and grandchildren. Get them in for the action. They will love it, and the work will get done very quickly. These are going into the oven, preheated at 350 degrees. Here are the biscotti. Now we're going to cut them. We're going to mold. Let me introduce another very helpful tool. This is an offset handle bread knife. And the offset handle keeps your hand above whatever you're doing. So if you're cutting a sandwich, your hand isn't in the sandwich. Here we are. These are biscotti. They're going to be cooked twice. So we're doing a bis back in the oven. And I'm going to time it for 10 minutes.
A few minutes later.
Oh, wow. How beautiful. These are crescents. It's not necessary to glaze the crescents, but why not? So let's make some glaze. This is 1 cup of confectioner's sugar. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to put a few drops of this wonderful anise oil. You can make this glaze with milk. You could make it with orange juice. You could make it with lemon juice. I think I use lemon juice most often. So this is going to dry into a crisp layer of sugar. Okay, so now the cookies have to be cool before we could do anything else. So our crescents are baked and cooled, and now we're going to glaze them. So we put a few sprinkles. And then we put them in our serving plate. Oh, who could resist sprinkles? Nobody. Well, it's tea time, and these are 2 family heirloom recipes. So, buon appetito! Now you know how to make biscotti and crescent cookies. So, please make them. Invite your children and grandchildren to help you because it's a lot of fun. It's really a family activity. Salute.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for watching. Ciao. Alla prossima volta. Oh, they're really good.
Those are great.
Delicious.